Hello everybody, today is Sunday, March 22nd, so let's get started with today's Sunday solve of Clues by Sam. Tina the farmer in D4 is starting us off with the clue exactly 2 of the 4 criminals in column C are Linda's neighbors. Linda is in column C, so she's going to have 2 criminal neighbors in column C, Helen and Steve. Helen is giving us the clue only 1 of the 2 criminals in row 3 is Karen's neighbor. Karen is in row 3, so either Jane or Linda is a criminal, but not both, and then either Karen or Maria is a criminal, but not both, since there are only 2 criminals in this row. Steve, the coder in C4, is giving us the clue exactly 2 of the 5 criminals neighboring Petra are in column C. Petra is right here in B4, so between Linda and Zavi, one of them is going to be a criminal because Steve is already a criminal. So that's one, and then either Linda or Zavi is going to be the second criminal neighboring Petra in column C. However, that means we also know there's going to be 1 innocent here, and if there are 4 criminals in column C, there can only be 1 innocent. So Chris the doctor up in C1 is definitely a criminal. Okay, Petra is one of Steve's 5 criminal neighbors. So Petra is a criminal. And she is giving us the clue Brian and Karen have only 1 innocent neighbor in common. Okay, Brian is right here in B1, Karen is right here in B3. They've got 3 neighbors in common, Frank, Gabe, and Helen. Helen we already know is a criminal. So Frank and Gabe, 1 is going to be an innocent and 1 is going to be a criminal. Alright, and so we've got an interesting board state right now, so let's see if we can figure some of this out. So Steve has 5 criminal neighbors. So we know Petra is 1, Linda or Zavi will be 2, and then Karen or Maria will be 3. Steve only has 2 neighbors other than those, Vince and Ziad, so they must both be criminals. That is going to give us... Vince is giving us the clue there are more innocents in column A than column B, and Ziad is giving us the clue only 1 row has exactly 2 innocents. Oh, well, we know row 3 is going to have 2 innocents, so that means row 4 can't have 2 innocents, so Olive must be a criminal. We also know there's going to be 1 innocent over here in row 2, and since Helen is a criminal, Ivan must also be a criminal, so that there aren't exactly 2. And Ivan is letting us know each row has at least 2 criminals. Most of our rows are shaping up that way, but it looks like that'll be helpful once we get some more information about row number 1. Let's go back and check up on a couple of these past clues to see if there are any obvious deductions we can knock out. Only 1 of the 2 criminals in row 3 is Karen's neighbor. That by itself is not going to tell us which is which. Each row has at least 2 criminals. Yep, that's the new clue. We just discussed that. Exactly 2 of the 4 criminals in column C are Linda's neighbors. By itself, can't figure out which. Exactly 2 of the 5 criminals neighboring Petra are in column C. Okay. Right now, Petra has 3 criminal neighbors revealed. And we know that either Zavi or Linda is going to be a criminal, and either Linda or Jane is going to be a criminal. That in itself is not... So it could be that Jane and Zavi are both criminals, and Linda and Uma are innocent. It could also be that Linda is a criminal and Uma is innocent and Jane and Zav. Hold on. So it could be if Linda is innocent, Jane and Zavi are both criminals, and then Karen and Uma would have to be innocent. If Linda is... Okay, let me try changing the tags. If Jane is innocent, Linda is a criminal, Zavi is innocent, and then either Karen or Uma would need to be the fifth criminal. If Jane and Zavi are instead criminals, Uma, Linda, and Karen are all innocent. So it's a little bit complicated here. I did not mean to put that to blue. So we might need to run through, but let me check. Brian and Karen have only one innocent neighbor in common. Still can't narrow that down. There are more innocents in column A. Probably gonna come in handy in a second here. Yeah, let's start running some scenarios. So let's start with Linda, Zavi, Jane in this configuration. Petra will need one more criminal, but it could be either Karen or Uma. That said, we know there can't be exactly two innocents in this row, so Uma would be the criminal, Karen would be innocent, Maria would be a criminal. And let's see what else we can deduce here, because we do know there are going to be more innocents in column A than column B, and right now they've got the same number, but this is an either or. So can Frank be a criminal? If Frank is a criminal and Gabe is an innocent, even if Adam is innocent, they would have the same number of innocents, so no. Frank has to be an innocent and Gabe has to be a criminal. Then let's see, if Adam is a criminal, then Brian would also need to be a criminal, I believe. Yes, so that column A doesn't have more innocents. However, if Adam is innocent, at least in theory, Brian could be innocent as long as Ellie is also innocent. Except that's not possible because each row has to have at least two criminals. So if Adam is... Let's back up. Okay, so if Adam is a criminal, Brian would be a criminal, and Ellie could go either way. I think Brian just has to be a criminal no matter what, and then Adam could potentially go either way, because if Brian is innocent, Adam has to be innocent, and then Ellie would have to be innocent, which is too many innocents in a row. So yes, Brian has to be a criminal. And then Adam could be a criminal, and then I think Ellie could potentially go either way, or Adam could be innocent and then Ellie would just have to be a criminal. So I'm gonna leave Adam and Ellie alone for now, but that's a lot of tags if we figure out this is the correct scenario. However, if Linda is innocent, Jane and Zavi have to both be criminals. That already gives Petra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 criminal neighbors, so Uma is innocent and Karen is innocent. And since we know Karen is innocent, that would make Maria a criminal. We do have some ones that we know definitely, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark those before we continue our deductions. And Karen is giving us the clue there's an odd number of criminals on the edges. So let's go back to the if Linda is a criminal real quick. Because right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 criminals on the edges. So either Adam or Ellie would have to be a criminal, and then the other one would have to be innocent. Okay. I don't think we can narrow down which one, but that is useful to know here. Right, so going back to if Linda is innocent, right now we do have the same situation of we've got the same number of innocents and criminals in column A and B that we were looking at last time. So I believe Gabe is going to have to be a criminal, but let's check. If Gabe is innocent, Frank would have to be a criminal. And then even if Adam is innocent, that's 2, which is the same as here. So yes, Gabe definitely has to be a criminal, and Frank definitely has to be innocent. Okay. So, continuing on with the Linda is innocent scenario, we are looking at right now, we've got 2 innocents here and 1 here. So can Brian be innocent? I think the answer is going to be the same as last time, that he can't, but let's check this one more time. So we would have 2 innocents, so Adam would have to be innocent, and then we would either have exactly 2, which we can't, or we would have 3, which isn't possible, with each row having at least 2 criminals. So yes, Brian has to be a criminal. And Brian is letting us know there are more criminals in column C than column D. We know that column C is going to have exactly 4 criminals, so we can't have that many in column D. That means Ellie is going to be innocent, Adam must be a criminal. And then from there, I think we might just have to count up how many criminals are on the edges. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need an odd number of criminals on the edges. So if we've got Jane and Zavi being criminals, that would give us an even number. So we need Uma to be a criminal to give us an odd number. Which means Zavi is innocent, Jane is innocent, and Linda is a criminal. Thanks for watching. Please reach out on YouTube or on my Blue Sky if you want to discuss my solves or have any follow-up questions, need further clarifications. And I will see you next week.